Imagine a massive puzzle that covers nearly an entire continent. For over a century, the Mauryan Empire was exactly that, a vast, unified picture holding most of ancient India together. Around the year 185 BCE, the empire's last ruler was assassinated, and that giant puzzle broke into dozens of smaller pieces. To understand when this happened, we look at how we measure time. We are in the period called BCE. The years count down like a timer approaching zero, before flipping into the Common Era. We're looking at that exact transition, starting in the 2nd century BCE. When an empire of that size vanishes, it leaves a massive void. It raises a question for anyone living through it. Does the whole region fall into a period of total chaos, or does something else take its place? We have to look at the evidence left behind by the local leaders who tried to step into the gap. They were all competing to prove they were the new rightful rulers of their own patches of land. This shift is what we call reorganization. Power moved from one central throne into many smaller, highly competitive regional hubs. One of the first leaders to emerge was Pushyamitra Shunga. He took over the very center of the old empire and established his own dynasty. To show he was truly in charge, he staged a massive public ceremony called the Ashvamedha Yagna. This was a ritual using a horse to claim land. The king would let a horse roam freely for a year, followed by his army. Any ground the horse wandered across was claimed for the king. It was a way to mark out his territory without having to fight a battle in every single village. The Shungas also paid for magnificent art, like the stone railings at the Barhut Stupa. These intricate scenes were carved to show everyone that the new rulers were wealthy, cultured, and devoted to the faith. For these new leaders, funding grand religious ceremonies and massive stone monuments was a powerful way to make their brand new thrones feel permanent and legitimate. Further southeast, in a region called Kalinga, another leader named King Kharavela was building his own power base. Kharavela realized that relying on a massive army to control every mile of land was too expensive and difficult to maintain forever. He used a system of tributary kingdoms. He allowed smaller local lords to keep their own titles as long as they promised to be loyal to him, essentially funneling money and goods up to his central crown. He also used marriage as a tool for peace. By arranging weddings between his family and the families of competing rulers, he turned potential enemies into relatives and allies. Success in this era depended on these diplomatic networks. Strategic marriages and loyal sub-kings were often more effective at securing a border than constant fighting. Since this all happened over 2,000 years ago, we have to look at how we actually know these details. We find the answers by looking at the physical messages left behind on rocks and monuments. This is the field of epigraphy, which is like reading a long-lost diary that was written in stone for everyone to see. This is the Hathi Gumpha inscription. Etched directly into a cave, it's a record of Kharavela's achievements. It functions like a modern social media profile, broadcasting his military wins, public canals, and respect for all religions. He also left behind these massive structures, the Udaigiri caves. Carved into the hillside for monks, they showed his support for the spiritual community. By carving their stories into stone and mountains, these kings made sure their wealth and power were visible to everyone, leaving a record that wouldn't easily disappear. The end of the Mauryan Empire cleared the way for a vibrant and highly competitive time. This was the age of reorganization. The evidence shows that regional kings successfully filled the empty space left behind. They used diplomacy, grand ceremonies, and massive public monuments to show they were in control. We see these same strategies in our world today. Modern leaders still use diplomatic alliances, public monuments, and media to build their image and hold their authority. History is a continuous process of human society breaking apart and then reorganizing itself into new, complex shapes.